Good evening, everybody. It is indeed Monday night, and we're racing Project Cars once again. It is the V8 Supercars. We're in the Ford Falcons. We're around an Indianapolis course, and I know that it's not really a track that a lot of the drivers like. Tyler Humphreys in the commentary box with me. Tyler, what do you think about the Indianapolis track?
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Indianapolis, it's all right, I guess. It's not really my favorite, but it's got its own character, I guess you could say.
So Tyler's joining us. We normally hear his soothed, sultry voice on a Thursday night, but jumping in the box out this evening, unfortunately, Stephen is under load shedding and not able to join us. And that's only because while he has power at home, the internet connection is dodgy as yo. We are coconuts. So good thing I remember that. So it is like trying to build a snow castle on a tropical island. It is not going to happen. So I see in the background the guys have started their qualifying, so we can transition over to that. Apologies, guys, for last week. Just a combination of load shedding, the public holiday. We only had 6 drivers that had confirmed that they could race, and I think it was only 5 that were ready. So we decided to just push it out one more week. And here's currently Robert Stoltz. We see him racing on a Thursday. He is out on his outlap here at Indianapolis Speedway, and if I just bring up the track map, you can see it's a slightly different configuration to what we're used to from an Assetto Corsa point of view. So they're coming through turn number 5. There's a little chicane through 6 and 7, or sorry, through 5 and 6. That is actually a chicane. Let's see if we can pick up who's coming through there now. There we go. So we've actually got Durkee that went through there, and you can see that normally there's another little loop on the inside which is no longer on this format. So currently top of the tables is Yusuf Musa. We are going to give you that screen right now, Tyler, so you're able to see what I'm seeing.
Thank you.
Remember, I've got to just drop that reso for you a little bit. There you go.
Cool. Thank you very much.
So quite interesting enough is that Yusuf Musa, we're watching him here, he actually put up a message on Thursday night asking whether Assetto Corsa was on PC. And to that I obviously answered yes indeed. And it looks like he might come and join us for the next SARCO season. So really awesome to see him coming from the PlayStation League and joining us on the PC. That would be pretty awesome. So Yusuf now
yeah, it's always cool to see more guys joining us.
Crossing line 124.5, so he is ahead of Terry, our V8 specialist. Stefan, he's only managed to get a 128.4, so 6.6 seconds off the pace there. We then got Rockstar Mal. He is coming into turns 8 now through that very... Oh, I've lost him on the track. Oh, there he is there. So now through the last corner. So a full speed here, and the car generally tries to kid you out. So the rear gets very, very loose as you start transitioning back onto the oval part of the track. So Jacques now on an absolute flyer. Then we've got Peter Brunt, who's joined us once again. Peter Brunt was out for a couple of months, and that had something to do with the little car track accident that he had. One of the scariest things that I have seen, and that's seeing somebody go under a fence. So good to see that Peter Brunt's foot is healed and working again. So yes, this is real drivers playing online racing. And the reason... Ooh.
That was weird. It just appeared out of nowhere.
So I think that was a bit of a lag issue there. Because I don't think Jacques... Yeah, you can see that he is kind of bouncing around the track a little bit awkwardly. We know that he is currently running his generator from the farm. So Jacques in his extra Ford Falcon. The black and yellow colors are high. You know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow. Across the line and puts himself in second place. So we'll keep our eyes on Peter Brunt now as he comes onto the start-finish line. And now, and wow, splitting himself between the two, Jacques and Dirkie. So that's an absolute great comeback there for Peter Brunt. And I was just looking at that B1ZR. Looked like he was busy, but it looked like he came here to do he was busy doing the business. Oh, I thought I'd be able to rotate around, so that would have been awesome. So, currently our championship leader, that is Morris. He is out on track doing his outlap. You can see the only driver to have not done a lap. And quite interesting enough, Tyler, is that the guys are going to have to pit because an hour race, the cars are not geared for that distance, and the fuel tank does not allow them to do one full tank and drive to the end. So there are some split strategies that will happen here. The guys have to put in some fuel, but it's all about whether they add tires on as well or run half fuel. So it's going to be quite interesting here this evening.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I'm wondering if the optimal strategy is to maybe go light on the start and push, and box very early, go heavy, and then just extend that stint, or to go heavy and then push for as long as possible and box later on for lighter fuel. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So it definitely is going to be a race of just fuel, and the reason being is that it sounds like from what we're hearing in the pits is that the guys are saying that the tires might last, so there won't be a tire change, but definitely it's a fuel strategy. I personally know that running the heavier Ford Falcon is that it does get a little bit hairy to drive, and the lighter the car is, the better it does handle. So I would rather prefer a lighter car, put some extra fuel in, and away you go.
Also help with the jump off the line with a lighter car, make some positions up.
So very similar to our Assetto Corsa League is that the guys will do a full formation lap. And again, some of the discussion they're saying do a very, very slow formation lap to try and just reserve some of that fuel so that they're not burning up all the fuel, going at maximum attack nice and early. So all eyes are currently on Morris with now 15 seconds left of this qualifying time. He's going to head around the last corner, turn number 12. And as he crosses the start-finish line, where does it put him? We'll just wait for that timing to come up, and nearly a second quicker than Durkee in second place. So definitely a dominant force in this V8 Supercar Ford Falcon.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Nice, Marius.
Yes, Marius. That's amazing.
So one thing that we generally don't hear is the drivers talking.
Joseph, I saw that you did 2 laps over there. You behind the start finish line.
Yeah, he was behind the start finish line.
Okay. Got it. Okay, shot.
You can see just our host just making sure that there wasn't any untoward, but we could see that his first lap was a 146, which is kind of what Marius was on when he went out. So no dodginess there for Yusuf.
Okay.
And it's just so crazy. Tyler, look at these cars head on, and it looks like you might be able to get 6 wide, maybe 7 wide there. But when you're in that driver's seat and you're heading down into turn 1, this track does start feeling very, very narrow.
Definitely, especially at those speeds. You don't want to make a mistake, so you try and keep it as clean as possible. Obviously, also trying to make up positions, but yeah, very cautious and sort of attacking at the same time.
So I know for our Thursday night, that is on our Assetto Corsa League, that is our American series. Some of the posts that have will be going up is that one of them is when you're in the mountain, there's this balance between maximum attack and does high risk give you big reward, and that's always that trying to find that balance between pushing it to the limit and keeping it there versus driving a nice, safe, consistent race and just ticking off those points.
I think definitely for Mount Panorama, you don't want to put it in the wall because you will not make it back to the pits. You have to respawn back to the pits, and that will definitely not help your race time. So yeah, definitely better to find your groove and keep it there, I'd reckon.
So for those who are watching, guys, don't forget to let us know in the comments who you're going to be supporting here this evening. Morris is leading the way with Durkee in second, Peter Brunt in third, Rockstar Mal in fourth, we also know him as Jacques, Robert Stoltz in fifth place, Yusuf in sixth, Terry in seventh, and Stefan down in eighth position. So it does look like Morris is definitely wanting to get this this race happening quite quickly.
Not the slow formation lap everyone was talking about, but yeah, clearly wants to get things underway.
Unless he has fueled his car specifically for a strategy. And just talking about the Thursday night race at Bathurst, don't forget, guys, we are that 1 week behind just in terms of our season. So next week, Monday, we ourselves head to the mountain for our double points race as well. So don't forget to tune in next week, because that will essentially finalize this series before we go on our little break. And then we will be back with 6 weeks of action. But here we go as we're now a single file on the start-finish straight. And Morris waiting for that line to go before he had a run, and that's because it is quite a long straight here at Indianapolis into turn number 1. You can see Morris going very defensive, Durkee trying to make a move around the outside, and Yusuf got himself a place. He's up into 5th place. Behind him is now Robert Stoltz, who has dropped down But no contact into turn number 1, so they're all clear. So we're now under full racing orders. Oh,
we got a
spin in
car
the
around.
background, and that is Robert Stoltz, who's managed to flick that car around. And Robert now going to have his work cut out, starting at the back to try and move his way back up the order. Jacques having a late lunge to the inside. Has he been able to make that stick? But it is Peter Brandt who did manage to get that momentum around the outside. So Yusuf now right on the back of Jacques, as was wondering whether Yusuf would be able to get himself on the inside as they head to this very sharp right-hander. But Yusuf now up against the wall. Is he going to be able to go side by side and set himself up for the inside here? Just not close enough. Terry now looks like he's got the run on Yusuf. So Yusuf now dropping down. And Terry now up into 5th place. So quite an exciting first lap already. And Dirkie and Marius out in front, starting to open up a gap.
Very interesting to see the gap already forming, and what these two are going to do in terms of strategy. Maybe try and undercut one another, or vice versa. But yeah, let's see what these two have in store.
So this is a little section where normally we'd actually be turning to the right there to head the little loop on our Assetto Corsa racetrack. But as you can see, a little far chicane, and if you get that right, it is flat out through there. And man, oh man, does it feel good when you get it right. But in the contrary, you can hit that curve and it just unsettles you a little bit, and then you find yourself smacking the wall on the inside as Dirkie goes a little bit wide coming out the exit there. Looked like he might touch the grass, but has been able to hang on to it. Hard onto the brakes now as they come into the second last corner. And then we'll have a look at the lap times and just see how the guys are tracking. But is Peter Brandt also now starting to get himself a little bit of breathing space in the back there. And Terry Wilfred really putting some pressure on the back of Jacques as he sets himself up on the inside for turn number 1. And it looks like behind them, Stefan is now coming through as well. So on the brakes, Terry has been able to make that move stick. And going on the inside and setting himself up so that Jacques now dropping down to 5th.
Oh no.
Little, possibly a touch of the curb there, and it's just pulled Jacques off the track. So he's now going to rejoin down in 7th place. So Robert would have seen that, and I'm sure he's still looking to get the momentum. But currently, the guys out in front, 22.3. So Morris and Dirkie just about matching each other there.
Oh, wide on the grass. Very lucky not to go round, but keeping it under control at the moment.
And you can just see the little deviation there on the track, that the suspension definitely feels that, and what it does is it kind of unsettles you on the brakes, and the car just feels like it's floating to the outside. Understanding that there is no traction control or ABS in this car, so you just feel like you're floating it into that braking zone. Once you find that grip, then it's get it turned in, nose down, and back on that power.
Very difficult car to drive, of course, with no traction control. 5-litre V8, 635 horsepower. So you have to be very, very careful on your right foot, not to spin up the rear.
Just having a look there, that's Yusuf making a move on the inside, so a great move there for him. But Jacques now holding that inside line through turn number 2. But is Yusuf going to be able to come back and sneak up on the inside through 3 and set himself up for 4? Jacques just closing that door. But great awareness from both of these drivers. And Yusuf is now going to want to just suck up behind Jacques and get pulled down the back straight here and into turn number 7. Well, Jacques looked like he was just a little bit slow, which has got Yusuf right on his tail. And I must say, Jacques is not looking comfortable. A little bit too tight into that first phase. And Yusuf now looking through turn number 9. So he's setting himself up on the brakes here through 10. Is he close enough? Just not close
Very
enough
close.
there, but really, really good there. Putting a lot of pressure on Jacques, currently in a 6th place. You can see Jacques now getting that power on that rear, just stepping out a little bit. But a great drive here from Yusuf, really keeping Jacques honest. Just jumping back to our guys out in front. Durkee now 0.6 of a second behind the race leader. Now guys, if you have just joined us, we are currently alive. It is round number 5. We did send our apologies earlier on in the evening, and that was due to us having to just delay by 1 week because this championship has been so great. And a late move on the inside there by Terry Wilfred on Peter Brunt, and it looked like Peter Brunt didn't see him coming, and Terry late on the brakes saw the opportunity and just snuck one up on the inside.
Also a little lock up there from Terry, very well handled, and stopped just in time to make the corner.
And he did do that quite dramatically, a little smoke up of the tyres, a little lock there. But he has been able to go nice and tight on the inside there through turn number 10. Now through the long right sweep here, turn number 11.
Down the main straight, tucking in behind one another, looking for the slipstream. We got a car around.
Oh no, that was Yusuf. And Robert getting so close to the end there. So Yusuf was within a second of Jacques, and I think that rear just letting go as he started applying that pressure on that loud pedal. But I must say, very, very close still out in front between Marius and Durkee. We see the next battle, the 3-way horse behind us between Terry, Stefan and Peter Brunt. So both Morris and Durkee using as much of this track as possible. Just see that how the front of their car just floats into this braking zone. Now through the last corner. Much tighter line through there for Marius than Durkee. But Durkee now starting to close up now that he's got that slipstream. And I see in the background there between Stefan and Terry. Stefan has been able to get himself ahead of Peter Brunt. And now it is Stefan just showing those lights to Terry saying, listen pal, I'm here and I'm looking for this opportunity to get past you.
Very, very close racing thus far. We're very interested to see what's going to happen between the top two in terms of strategy and who's going to throw the dice first and box for some fuel, maybe a new set of tires. See who can maybe make that work the best.
So I know for a fact that Marius is not the type of person that likes to pit early. He likes to leave it as late as possible. So we'll definitely keep our eye on that. Just want to see if we can't get a little cockpit view from Stefan, just so we can have a little tour of this track. So yeah, you'll see as the car transitions up on the bumps, here on the brakes, into the sun. Oh, Terry's deep. It looks like Stefan followed him there.
Terry's compromised his exit, yeah.
So here we go across the start-finish line towards turn number 1. You can see how long the straight is. Will Stefan just move out to the right, just have a show? There we go, braking down at 500. Stefan just not close enough yet. You can see Terry really fighting that rear through turn number 2. Now this very deceiving turn 3 on the brakes, getting the car turned in, and you want to get it as straight as possible very soon, vehicles now flat through the little chicanes at 4 and 5. Then a very, very wide a middle straight. This is currently in the middle of the track, then looking for that 400 meter board, braking hard, get it turned in, just watch that inside curve, it's quite a bump. So this is now through 7, 8, little tap down to second gear through 9, back on the power. Long sweep as you rejoin the oval track, up the little bump, just before the 300 yard board on the brakes. Through 11, then a dab on the brakes here through 12, and Terry right up on the inside curve, taking a lot of the inside curve now through the last corner. This is where we saw Yusuf unfortunately losing that rear and spinning it around. And Terry lives to fight another day. But there in the background you can see Peter Brunt now also dropping down the order. We've got Rockstar Mal, who has been able to get himself up the order there. And Durkee seems to have just lost himself a little way there, because while that gap was around 0.6 of a second, it's now just about doubled to 1.3. So it looks like Stefan is going to set himself up for the left-hander. He's already making his move shown. Terry trying to get that a little cutback working, but not able to make it work here. So while the gap was 1.3 seconds, we can see now it's down to just over 1. So Durkee was able to claw back some time there. You can see even though he was still 0.3 slower, he managed to make up 0.2 of a second. So he is definitely keeping Marius honest here this evening. And it's absolutely incredible to think that we only have 8 drivers, yet the action has still been so incredible.
Definitely amazing. Just from watching our P2 man, it seems he's a lot later on the brakes than Marius. He gains quite a lot of time in the braking zones, but when it comes to leaving the corner, it seems he loses quite a bit to Marius.
It's also got to do with the driver style, is that Marius likes to throw the car in and then you'll use that slide on the way out. Where Durkee is a little bit more point to point. See a lock up there for Marius.
Definitely still anyone's game out in front at the moment.
And it is going to come down to what that fuel strategy is. Who is going to have enough fuel at the end? And I did see Terry was within a second of Stefan, but now having fallen down just a little bit. So that is Stefan in 3rd, Terry 4th, Rockstar Mal 5th, and Peter Brunt 6th. And in the background, in the black and white livery, that is Robert Stoltz. Yusuf putting down a 123.5. So looking at, 124.3 that time round. But at a 123.5, that means he was circulating quicker than Terry Wilfred. So with that pace, he would definitely be able to start closing down on both Robert and Peter Brunt.
Yeah, definitely trying to catch up a bit after his mistake.
Oh,
we got Terry running hard.
So a little lapse of concentration there, and Terry just going off.
No harm done though. Just lost a bit of time. Still racing.
He is still able to make it back.
having a look on the YouTube chat at the moment, Abdullah Musa is telling Yusuf he has math homework.
So I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't, otherwise he would not be racing. So a lock up there for Terry, and just keeping that gap between himself and Rockstar Mal in check. But again, Durkee out in second place. You can see, Durkee really finding a lot of front end grip. It looked like that car just about slung itself through there, through turn number 7. Now this is through 8 and 9.
Quite an aggressive bump there when they rejoin the oval.
100%, and it is so tricky that that whole section. Like I said, is that you fighting the car and you're fighting the movement of the track underneath you. Then you got to get yourself into your braking zone, get that nose down. Oh, it is quite a handful, this car.
Definitely a lot of power with these V8 engines. Not a lot of aero, I'd imagine. I haven't driven one myself, but definitely I think a challenging car.
So I think Abdullah's trying to get Yusuf in trouble because Ahmed, his father, has actually come and said, I'm sure it's done this week, Dad's checked. So there we go. Abdullah, unfortunately your plan has backfired. Yusuf is has been cleared to race. Thank you, Ahmed. So Morris was a little bit slower that time round, 123.4 versus Durkee 122.9. But quite interesting enough, Stefan, currently quickest man on track at a 122.7. So he is 8.5 seconds behind these guys. But if he's putting in those times, there is still 40 minutes left to go of this race. So we are 1/3 done. Is that coming near the end of the race? He could possibly very well be in this three-way battle up in front.
Yeah, very impressive lap time there. A little bit faster than the top two, so he will definitely, over time, if he continues with those lap times, he will make it up to that fight and maybe pick one or two of them off.
Ooh, Durkee having a little show on the inside there, so just running himself a little bit deep. And you can see there again, Tyler Stefan taking 122.8. So he's taken another half a second off the guys ahead. So that gap was 8 seconds between himself and Durkee. Now down to 7.5.
Definitely on a mission. He wants a better position than P3 at the moment.
And I think it was just because he wasn't able to get a good qualifying time down. Now they head through turn number 11, and let's just see if we can't get a shot in the cockpit. Oh, I just missed it because I realized that I am controlling that camera. Steven, you're making me nervous here, man. Come on. So Steven would normally be doing what I'm doing as the director, and that's why we've got the little lock views below. And that's because this is the actual director's HUD that we have going here. So looking at the time, so no time made up that time round. So 23.0 for Marius, 23.1 for Durkee. And Rockstar Mal starting to close up on the back of Terry Wolfred.
Terry made up quite a few places at the start. I'm wondering if he's just struggling with tires or what's happening in that car.
I think it could possibly be just getting a little bit too excited, maybe a little bit of overdriving. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be watching those mirrors, trying to not see where Jacques is, because that's the worst thing you want to do is start looking in your mirrors to see where the car behind you is, and rather focus on looking ahead.
Taking a lot of grass there on the inside. Trying to maximize the lap time.
So here you'll actually see how bumpy this little section is here as they join through turn number 11. So he hits up the track, big bump now on the brakes, little lock up there for Terry. And just got a Gerard Voslu approving of this. Thank you very much, Gerard. Appreciate it. And if you'd like to see your name come up on the stream, give us a share, give us a like, and who knows, you might just get your name up on our screen. So Durkee unfortunately losing some time to Marius. Marius doing a 1:23.000 or 23 dead. Doesn't get any deader than that. And Durkee losing 0.361 of a second at that time round.
Consistency is key. So you got to keep that consistency up, and it will play hopefully. But for now, yes, he has lost 0.3 of a second to Marius.
And guys, the prizes. Ooh, mistake there for Durkee. You can see going wide into turn number 1. Well, sorry, not 1. We're on the other side of the track. Turn number 13. So turn number 1 and turn number 12 are basically the same configuration. It is actually quite scary if you actually look at the track map there. But the prizes supplied by Schick. So thank you very much, Schick, for your contribution. So you can see where the blue dot is. That is turn number 12. And if you look at turn number 1 where the 2 white dots are, you can see it's basically a little straight into a 90-degree right-hander going into a left-hander. It's almost the same configuration.
Almost. Definitely the same corner radius, I'd say.
So we are approaching that halfway mark, and I would love to be able to just know what's happening with the fuel in some of the cars. Still waiting to see a pit stop coming in.
I don't think anybody has gone for low fuel at the start.
No. And unfortunately we don't have all the great little tools like we have on our ACC. So we essentially have to do a manual count of who's pitting or not. But I see that Jacques is starting to close up on Terry once again.
Gap is just over a second heading into turn 1. Late on the brakes, trying to get as much time as possible while not locking up. Going straight on and missing the corner.
And I was going to say, the thing about these cars is because they don't have the ABS, is that you are able to flat spot these tires where you actually start feeling that vibration. And once you start locking up once, it keeps finding that spot over and over and over.
Just makes the flat spot worse every single time.
Oh,
Terry's off the road.
Terry's off, and just being able to stop that, and just about scaring Jacques. It looks like Jacques also, I'd say, panicked a little bit because now Jacques gone off. And I think it was because he went very, very wide, trying to go around the outside of Terry, coming into turn number 8. So now it is a race on between these two once again. So, as we're talking about pits, there we go. The first man in the pits. And that is Durkee. It looks like it is just fuel.
Someone taking out a cone in the background.
And Yusuf really putting in some great laps there. 24.5 for him, so he is quite consistent there. And Durkee still in the pits, but one of the longest pit lanes that we've got. It is so long, it is so slow, it is almost heart-wrenching of how long it takes you to get out of the pits. But now through the little chicane at 5 and 6, down the back straight. Going to be hard on the brakes. We know that Terry's been picking up a few locks here. You can see a slight little lock there, but a lot safer through here this time around. Now through 8 into 9. Then this flowing at 10. Into turn number 11. Back onto the banking, then onto the brakes, and flames there for both Jacques and Terry. And Terry really attacks that inside curb through turn number 13 quite aggressively.
I think Terry might be struggling for tyres. He keeps going wide there at the last corner. You don't really want to do that. It really eats your tyres and doesn't help your lap time that much.
So Durkee, just got to remember, a 2:03.9 there for him, just so we can start getting an idea of these different lap times, because that will give us a good indication of what some of the guys are doing. So we got a message here from Sune saying, well done guys, keep it up, go Stefan, go. So Stefan currently in third.
Oh, Terry.
So Terry really getting that wrong.
I don't know if that was a lock-up or he just missed the brake mark.
I think he might have just got into the brakes a little bit too late there. Because I don't remember seeing a lot of smoke coming up when he went onto the brakes there. So we are now halfway through. Still 30 minutes left to go. So what I think Terry's doing is he's just turning in a little bit too soon here. Well, I must say that's a much better line, but you kind of got to just delay that turn in. You want to turn in a little bit later on turn number 14, so that you aren't finding yourself understeering on the exit. And with such a short lap of only a 1 minute 24,
is that a back marker? I'm not too sure.
that is Yusuf. Was he in the pits by any chance? Because I don't think that he would have been lapped by Terry just yet, unless he went into the pits. So definitely missed that. Because I see that Yusuf is behind Durkee, and 135.9. Oh no, 216.5. So there, definitely a pit stop there.
Yeah.
But that's 7 seconds slower than Durkee.
Maybe a change of tyres.
So,
I'm not too sure.
so-
Project cars?
Yep, he might have put some tyres on as Robert,
Ooh.
getting a little bit of an understeer. And almost going off the edge of the circuit there into turn number 10.
Ooh, a bit of oversteer there as well.
Riding that inside curb. You can see it look like Roberts also turned in a little bit too soon. But still keeping it on the extremities of the track. So all safe there. So what I was trying to say is that the lap times are so short here that you really don't get time to just relax. It is go the entire time, and because you only have the 2 main straights, the rest is corners, is that it's quite a technical track, and you've got to make sure that you're getting your exit speeds spot on through the... Oh, Yusuf is disconnected. So we're unfortunately now down to 7 drivers. So that rhythm section through turns 1 all the way through to 6, you've got to make sure that you get that rhythm right and you get the exit towards turn 7. The same through 7 all the way through to 14 is continuously corner, corner, corner.
And the corners around here are not very nice from my experience. Very bumpy, very not... They don't have a lot of grip, these corners, from my experience. So it's not very pleasant, but if you get it right, it's really nice.
So 2 drivers going into the pits now, so that is Jacques and Stefan. And here comes Ahmed saying that Yusuf's Wi-Fi's dropped, which is unfortunately now caused that disconnect. So Ahmed, we're going to have to send a 30-meter cable so that he is able to connect directly into his PlayStation with the cable, because then at least we won't have that happening again. So there is the snail pace crawl of the pits, and Jacques now seeing Stefan getting out. And quite a big gap between Jacques and Stefan. But then to Dirkie, that's even bigger. We can see Dirkie now already going into turn number 7. And Stefan now himself already going into turns 5 and 6.
Mario's holding this pit stop very late compared to everyone else.
I'm almost thinking that Morris is going to hold out at least till past 15 minutes to go, because that is just his style.
Indeed. Do you know what the pit stop time is around here? I'm not too familiar.
So if you're just putting fuel, obviously it's a couple of seconds. If you put tires on, there's 16 seconds there.
Okay.
So I see Willem Morgan coming in saying late, but here to support Uncle Dirkie. Well, there you go. Willem Dirkie is currently in 4th place, but he is the highest position driver of those here pitted. He was just over a second behind the current leader that we are following now. But it looked like Morris did have a few slower laps than Dirkie, so it's going to be quite interesting once Dirkie starts closing up on the lap time where Morris goes into the pits. So it's going to be interesting, so do not go away, because anything can happen. And the other dynamic that's happening, Tyler, it is getting dark.
Ooh.
So the track is going to change.
Temperatures are going to start plummeting, grip will increase. It'll be very interesting to see who adapts to the darkness and who finds it more comfortable in the dark. I don't know.
So those that would be on the softs, it would definitely benefit. Those who chose the harder, it takes a little bit longer for those tires to come in, but they are able to run a lot more optimum for longer. So Dirkie 123.1 and Morris 124. So that's nearly a second that Dirkie made up in Morris that lap. So Morris will across the line. How has he done this time? So 123.6. Just look at that time there by Stefan. We know Stefan is behind Dirkie.
Oh wow, it's
So
very quick.
But that's nearly 20 seconds is that gap now between Dirkie and Stefan. And we did see Stefan was within 7 seconds, so definitely different strategy there. Ooh, that's
A lot of curb.
a lot of curb there.
Trying to straight line the chicane as much as possible.
Just looking at those time penalties. So Thierry got one for himself, and Jacques 1 second there. So we're approaching the 20-minute mark, meaning that would be the last third of this race. And a big thank you to the Musso family for joining us here on the stream this evening, as well as Sine and Willem. Thank you very much, guys. Your support by the drivers is always welcome, because as mentioned before, they do come and watch the races afterwards. Very neat line there for Robert going through turns 5 and 6. Let's just bring up the speedo, just so you can get a sense of what speeds these guys are doing on the straights. See,
Oh, we can do
Whoa!
that as well. Whoa. Very big snap of oversteer there.
You can see how Robert is not using full brakes. He was feathering the brakes on there, gently adding pressure. You can see not using full, because once you go full, it just locks up. 80 Bond joining us. How's that, 80? Saying bring it home, guys. Or hello, all, bring it home, guys. And then our king of emojis, Eddie, thank you so much for joining and checking in on our Monday Night Project Cars 2 guys on PlayStation 4/5. It's always good to have our past PlayStation members joining us. Adrian Bond now racing on the Thursdays in our Assetto Corsa PC League. And we'll definitely see him in action this coming Thursday around the mountain for the double points finale. That's going to be an absolute cracker. There's 4 drivers. Well, the top 3 drivers, each one of those the top 2 drivers could have a win of the championship. The guy in 3rd place, depending on where the other 2 ahead of him finish, he could win. Yet the driver in 4th place, he still has a statistical chance of winning the championship due to the double points. And this is why we are so excited to see what happens there. It is going to be fantastic. So don't forget to tune in on the Thursday night. So 2nd place, Terry Wilfred. Haven't got him as pitting just yet. So we still got Robert to do a pit, Marius to do a pit, as well as Terry. So Peter Brunt in 3rd place. Yeah, also don't have him as pitted just yet. So he should drop down the order slightly. And just look at that. 6th place, Stefan, 22.4 versus Marius 24.9. So that gap between Stefan and Dirkie, you can see that it's 41 to 102, so that's still 20 seconds is the gap there. So I'm still watching the clock, 17 and a half minutes, and I did say that Morris would only pit after the 15 minutes to go. So that's still something for us to look forward to. And
Definitely dragging it very late.
and then Terry and Peter Brunt are still needing to pit themselves. But now Stefan on the back of Robert is currently within a second there, and Robert needs to pit himself. Yo, Stefan is really carrying a lot of speed through there. That's pretty awesome to see. So now through turn number 10, little Robert not able to get that car rotating, and Stefan got that nose down, got the front grip, and eased his way through there.
Just wondering if Robert himself is also struggling with tires a bit. He keeps doing that at that corner, running a bit wide and having to stop it from going off the circuit.
So Stefan 22.9. So Stefan really is putting in those fast, consistent laps. You see Stefan coming through turn number 3 now versus Dirkie, who's already at turn number 7. So a long ways to go for Stefan and Dirkie. So my prediction was right, because there's no ways that Morris is going to get into the pits within the next 30 seconds. So that clock would have gone over the 15-minute mark, so my prediction was correct. I see Morris using a lot of the outside there through turn number 11. So less than 15 minutes left to go. So essentially there from turn number 13 all the way around across that start finish line, Mr. Peter Hardeman has shared the love. Thank you very much, Peter. We need to get you racing with us once again, man. So Peter Hardeman and his wife Taryn with their daughter all went off to the UK at the end of last year. Absolute great line there. It was absolute perfection. But I'm sure that some people would agree, some wouldn't. Ooh, Morris is deep.
Funny line.
Big mistake there. It looked like he just kind of lost his way there, because he went and turned in and wasn't quite... it just didn't look like that car was in the right place to get that stopped and slowed down.
Oh, he was on the left side of the track.
Maybe he just got himself a little bit disorientated there.
Probably just in the groove, not paying attention, just second nature for him. Obviously thinking about other things maybe.
Yeah, 126.8 there for Marius, and 126.0 for Terry, so perhaps a little mistake there for him again. Dirkie doing the 123.2s, 123.2 for Stefan as well. So Stefan really consistent at this moment, really awesome to see. Whoa!
Whoa, that could have gone much worse.
I think he is so lucky that that wheel did not touch the grass. If he had touched the grass, that would have been spin central.
Would be like watching a bunch of ballerinas. Round and round.
Isn't that a song, Round and Round She Goes?
I'm not too sure. I'll do my research. Give me 2 seconds.
Fantastic. So, 12 minutes left to go, and if you have just joined us, Morris is out in front. Hasn't pitted, nor has Terry Wolford. Durkee 138.6 seconds behind Morris. He has pitted, however. And when Durkee did pit, he was within a second. But Durkee has been putting in a few quicker lap times than Morris. So we are waiting with anticipation to see when Morris pits. Where will he come out? Because I'm not sure if 40 seconds is enough for the pit stop, knowing how long it is.
So you are indeed correct, Dylan. There is a song, Round and Round She Goes.
Well, look at that. And just by interest, who is the artist?
Give me 2 seconds.
Ah! So we're approaching the last 10 minutes now, and this is where in an hour race you just want the laps to be finished. You've put in all the hard work. It's now just about bringing it home, and things can go wrong at this stage still, with 2 drivers still needing to do a pit stop.
So I believe that song is by New York Dolls, released in 2011, I believe. I think. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So anybody who wants to go listen to that, there you go. Round and Round She Goes by New York Dolls.
Fantastic. Not only do we bring you amazing racing action, but we keep bringing you the updates in interesting music. Okay, so less than 10 minutes to go now, and Marius has still not pitted. But let's see now with him coming through turn number 10. Now through the very, very fast turn number 11. Will he pit on this lap or not?
I don't think he will. He still got quite a bit of fuel left. No, Marius. That's not gonna help.
So it is saying that he's got 12.2 litres. But now that gap between himself and Durkee, look at that, down to 33 seconds. So I'm almost thinking that Durkee has done enough here.
I will Marius at pit next lap and use the remaining time to try and see what happens if Durkee has passed him. And if he has, put in those quali laps.
So a new development is Peter Brunt is right on the rear of Stefan. So that gap now closing down and nearly within, what's it, just over 1 second. And Peter Brunt had a really good start to this race, and all of a sudden just kind of started losing some of the places, whether he just went through a phase where that car wasn't set up correctly, but now starting to come back a bit. And Jacques now closing up onto the back of Robert Stoltz. Saw Robert getting a very nasty little tank slapper there for him for his sins coming out of turn number 12. And Jacques very close up against that wall, using as tight a line as possible. You can see in the background there, that is Morris. Jacques just making sure those lights are in the rear of Robert, but then at the same time just moving over to the side, showing his intent that he wants to make a move. Ooh. Durkee now behind Terry.
Terry yet to pit, of course.
And Durkee now trying to find a way around him. And Durkee having a late lunge and able to make it stick. A great maneuver there for Durkee. And Durkee now back into a second place. Oof, quite a nasty little entry there into the second phase of those S's. So
Morris still pitting.
So Morris has not pitted yet.
With that fuel load, I think he's only got a lap and a half left. Probably at the end of this lap he'll go for it.
And it is, looks like it is definitely going to need to be some sort of little splash and a dash. You need to pronounce your words.
English.
I must use good English to pronounce my words.
Very yummy English.
So Morris down 2.2 seconds on that delta. So not a good lap here for Morris either.
Coming around the second to last corner. Let's see if he does.
There we go.
He does.
Into the pits he goes. So this is what we've been waiting to see now. Where is Durkee? There's Robert in the background coming into the pits.
A very painfully long pit lane.
And it is going to be a little splash and dash. And you can see just about 3 laps of fuel short. 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. So off he goes. He's just put in 10 liters. And here comes Durkee around the last corner.
It's going to be quite tight, I think.
It is going to be excruciatingly tight because there goes Durkee. Morris is still in the pits and he's going to see a Durkee going past him. There he goes. And
I think he would have been fine without that little spin earlier.
And it just shows you how crucial that spin was, because that spin now has unfortunately released Durkee in front. But now here comes Stefan, and Stefan is going to be right on the tail of Morris. Not only that, is that Morris's tires are going to be cold, so he's going to have to get that heat back into them.
A little bit unfortunate there for Morris, but Durkee, of course, coming out on top there. With the early pit stop, going for the undercut, and just keeping it clean and consistent.
So the new race leader, and I'm sure Willem is going to be very happy with that, is his uncle Durkee is out in front, 13 seconds clear of Morris. And there in the background is Stefan in third place. So a great result there for Stefan, with him starting right at the back. Must say, a little disappointing for Yusuf. He really was driving superbly. So just under 2.5 minutes left of this race. So we'll have this lap plus one more. Okay, that will take us to 2 minutes 50.
I think Stefan's going to have a very, very good chance on Marius, yeah?
Because he is already within a second of Morris. And could it be a tire thing now? Because Morris really is struggling. Stefan all over the back now with that one lap left to go. So Stefan following Marius through. There is going to be an opportunity. Oh, that was so close. Opportunity into turn number one. Stefan's just going to have to get his braking done. Marius, oh!
Little bit of contact.
I don't think that Stefan would have been able to get around the outside there. But I'm not sure that that was done intentionally. But Marius thinking maybe just to shut the door, but not realizing how close Stefan is, and Stefan just avoiding and going up against the wall on the outside.
So last lap, last chance for Stefan to try and get P2 off Marius.
And Marius looks like he is the one now struggling of the two. Stefan's car is looking a lot more solid. You can see how he just got out of that corner a lot better. So now into turn number 7. Can there be a one last attempt at that braking zone, turn number 12?
He's definitely going to give it a try, I think.
So let's see where Durkee is. So there's Durkee now coming through the last corner. So Durkee will take the victory here this evening. Is he going to get the run, get a little drive around the outside? They are now currently side by side as they're going to head towards the line. Morris on the inside, Stefan going around the outside. It's going to be very, very close to the line.
Oh my word.
I don't know. Stefan got it by 0.01, I think. No ways.
Wow.
So we will see the final results there. That was absolutely crazy on how close that came to the end there. But here comes Rockstar Mal.
Oh, someone's run out of fuel.
Around the outside. No, and that's Peter Brunt on the outside of the track. And that's on turn number 13, the second last corner.
Someone go give him a push.
Here is Terry. So Terry now is probably seeing Peter Brunt there going past. Terry now moving up into 5th place.
I think Robert's out as well.
No, so Robert was a lap down, so he has completed the race already. What's happening is they're waiting for Peter Brunt in terms of the timer. So that is it. There's going to be a DNF for Peter Brunt. Absolutely crazy.
How close
But
was
now
that?
let's go to Stefan. Look at that point.
Oh my word.
0, 0. Yes.
Wow. What a finish there.
0. Wait, I'm struggling figuring it out. 0.011.
Morris, I needed fuel, 5 liters.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, guys, let's get our top 3 into the chat and just find out what that was like.
Nice one. And Stefan nailed
So
me
guys,
on the
let
line.
us know what
There
you
was
thought
no
about that
green.
race. Absolutely
There was
fantastic.
no green.
And even
No,
though
my two
only
right-hand
8
tires
guys,
were
we were
black.
down to
Okay,
7
there was
with
nothing.
Yusuf. That action, absolutely crazy.
Yes. Alright, guys, mine Birds is about to die. I'll catch up with you guys later. Well done,
What
guys.
a finish there for Stefan.
Bye, bye, bye.
Absolutely amazing drive out of the second to last corner to just out drag Marius to the line.
Come on. Oh ja, okay. Okay, ouens, mooi gedoen daar. Stefan, nice pip daar op die lyn hoor. Yes, ek het geknips.
Dit was close.
Yes, like it. Anyway, quiet.
So big celebrations there for Sine saying, woohoo, Stefan! And yes, we'll definitely agree there. An absolute crack of result there for Stefan, just managing to somehow carry that momentum around the outside and just pipping Morris there at the line. Absolutely fantastic. I had to look at the time there a couple of times to try and figure out how close it actually was. And as we now start seeing the drivers coming into the interview box, just waiting for Marius to join us. And then let's go into our driver interviews. Good evening, gentlemen. Well. Listen, all I can say, for only 8 drivers, then 7 on the track, just in terms of that action, it definitely did not go away. Let's start off with you, Morris. 3rd place to the line. Stefan just managing to go around the outside. And I'm pretty sure it was a bit heart-wrenching seeing Durkee overtaking you, knowing that you got stuck behind some of the back markers. But then again, that little spin through turn number 12, and Durkee managing to get that win from you.
Yeah, I was a little bit unlucky with the back markers. It took away all the advantage I had. But yeah, that spin was also behind the back marker. And then there were 2 back markers fighting with each other, and I didn't really want to, you can't expect someone in the middle of a battle to pull over or something. So I sat and watched, and then the one guy went off. Yes. And the other guy probably, I don't know if he thought I was racing him or what, but he raced me for a while. So I lost a little bit of my advantage, but it was an awesome race. In the end, there was no, on my telemetry, there was no green left on any of my tires. There was nothing. When I saw Stefan catching me in the last lap, there I was nipping, seriously.
It was absolutely exciting, and we could see how fastly, jeez, where did that come from? We saw how fast Stefan was actually catching you, and it got to a point where he was, trying to go around the outside, then to turn, turn number 9, and it looked like you just had quite a late move into the braking zone. You touched the wall. We thought, oh, this would be the end of it, only to set up another opportunity later on.
Yeah, no, he did that last 2 corners perfectly. And I knew I had to be very smooth on the throttle out there on the main straight, but I don't know if he changed tires or what. Well, but I think he put me with a thousandth of a second or something.
It was 0.011. Was
100th of a second.
100th of a second. So, Stefan, let's go to you. Absolute great drive. Started at the back. Did you have an issue with qualifying at all?
Yes, I had a spin at turn 7. That was really terrible. It cost me like 8 seconds or something. Yeah, but I kept going. Maybe thinking someone else might make a mistake, but no one else did. So good laps for that day.
No,
but yeah, at the start of the race, I started at I just kept back a little bit, not wanting to get into a first lap crash or anything. I saw there was a slight touch between Terry and Robert, just trying to avoid that at the start. But from there, actually, Marius made me doubt my own homework. So He said he's not going to spit. So I really thought maybe we can do it. But yeah, I was doing my homework throughout the mathematics throughout the race. So by the time Dirkie pitted, I knew I was also not going to make it. So I'd rather pit a little bit earlier for fresh tires and just capitalize, make use of the fresh tires, which really helped me at the end there.
No, 100%. And by you setting up going into turn number 13 to get the long right-hander, did you think you would actually be able to carry that speed and actually get around Marius to the line there?
You know what? I didn't. I knew he was struggling on the tires. I could see that he didn't have any grip left. So I was thinking I did have a big gap in front behind me. So if anything happened, I can just bail out. There is a lot of space available. So I just thought I'm just going to go for it and see what happens.
No, look, it was an absolute great move. We got it on the stream. Can't actually wait for you to go back and have a look at it and see how close it was to the line.
Coconuts.
Both myself and Tyler both just held our breath saying, we don't know how close it was because we actually couldn't see that end result. We had to wait. But it was literally, you can't see the difference coming up to the line, 100%. So, guys, it does look like we've lost Dirkie. I'm not too sure where he is or whether he's coming back. But, Stefan, we've got Sune that was on the stream, and she was screaming for you the whole way. So when you crossed that line and you got that second place, there was a big woohoo for Stefan there. So absolutely great there.
This was awesome. The ending was awesome. And I must just say, Dirkie's strategy was perfect. In the beginning, I was short shifting like crazy, not going into the limiter at all for the whole first half of the race to see if maybe I can save fuel and not stop. But then the last few laps, I saw, okay, that didn't work. But he was, even if I weren't held up, I think Dirkie would still have caught me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just because of your tire wear, because Dirkie was in the pits, I don't think that Dirkie put tires on. I think he just might have been on the different tires, which would have just given the extra life. I know that Dirkie likes to run that hard tire.
Yeah, he's good on the hard tire, but I knew, Stefan and Dirkie would have been right there with me anyway.
No, guys,
they were cool.
Absolutely great battle, and really looking forward to the final at Bathurst for the double points. That's going to be an absolute cracker. The mountain will take your soul.
Right, my favorite track. Right, guys, awesome.
Oh wait, here's Dirkie. Okay, lekker. Dirkie, you're back.
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so we were basically just answering some questions that we had. Question 1: were you on the hard tire?
No.
Did you change tires?
Yes.
Yo. Okay, so Marius, I think you need to recheck your strategy for the next one.
I stick to my strategy. It would have worked if you have to account for a few hang-ups and that. So I had a little spin, losing time. I had that behind the back markers, lose time. So it would have been close, but maybe because they had fresh tires, they would have put me on the line anyway. Yeah.
So So Dirkie, you basically chased down Marius for the first 20 minutes. You're still within that 1 second. An absolute great battle, but then went into the pits nice and early, and then that strategy just worked. And I'm sure your heart must have just filled with joy seeing that as you're coming down that start-finish line, Marius is still in the pits.
Yeah, you know what? I knew that nobody can finish the race with a tank. But if you are conservative and run on lean, yes, maybe, but not on a full pace. So when I saw him stayed out and I saw myself within those 50 seconds behind him, then I knew I've got a chance for this race. So I pushed to see if I can get, because every second that I'm less than 50 is a second in front of him.
Yes. So
so when he went into the pits, I knew that this one is going to be mine if I can keep it up, to the end.
Nice one, man.
Thanks, Marius.
It worked absolutely fantastic. The racing was absolutely fantastic. And lots of comments coming through the racing. Guys, thank you very much. And who could have thought that 60 minutes with 8 drivers could have been so exciting?
Yeah, but anyway, well done to the others. I wasn't here to congratulate them. Well done, Marius and Stefan. Well done, it was a good race.
Yeah, I can't wait for the mountain though.
Yeah, I love that one as well.
It's going to be an absolute cracker. Guys, a big thank you to our product sponsors, and that is Schick, giving hampers out, as well as to my commentator who helped me out this evening, Tyler, who generally helps on the Thursday night with myself and Morris, as well as to the guys from MSI who have helped us with the streaming equipment, which allows us to get the streams out to you, and as well as our partner NAG that assists us with our servers on a Thursday night. Guys, the mountain is going to be absolutely fantastic. Come and join us on Thursday night where we finalize our ACC American Tour, as well as next week, Monday, where we bring our V8 Supercar series to an end. Guys, it's going to be a cracker, so please join us then. And all I can say to everyone at home, keep racing, keep practicing,